Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in our 6th and final episode of the Energy Expenditure series. And I want to wrap this up, Adam, talking about food, because we always talk about the thermic effect of food and how if you have a little bit more protein, thermic effect of food from protein is going to be more in the 25 to 30% range. Fat can be all the way down to less than 3%. Carbs, depending on their structure, somewhere in the middle there. And we think of that in terms of just that meal, but wow, what if you add up that difference in sheer calories over 6 months? And I just wonder if you have seen any impact of how quickly somebody's losing body fat or losing weight through a week just by manipulating food sources. If you're getting a little bit more complexity, a little bit more structure in their meal planning, in just all of the different nuances in that kind of a food perspective.
Yeah, when we hit plateaus, food logs are one of the first things I look at for multiple reasons. Well, the first reason is to make sure that their accuracy is there. And most of the time, when people get away from whole foods, they start getting into things that are too good to be true. So these labels claim way less calories than what's actually in them. So yes, I do see a difference, but we have to state there is a calorie difference there, and that's why we're seeing that. So, but with thermic effect, there can be a like 10% difference per se between like processed foods and whole foods. So that has to add up over time. I can't say that I've changed someone's food quality and saw this astronomical difference, but I have seen more steady progression. And we always have to I'm very passionate about this topic, because if someone, has to eat 6 whole meals a day and they can't stick to that because they want a Pop-Tart, adherence is going to trump all of that. So we kind of have to throw that out the window if someone can't stick to that rigid of a food plan. So we really do have to be flexible and dynamic with our clients and understand that too as we go into this topic.
I would totally agree. I almost kind of threw you that softball in hopes that you would say that there is a certain amount that you can say is attributable to the mathematical formulation of how many calories am I actually going to use. Over time, like I said, 6 months, maybe that does add up to 1 or 2 extra pounds of body fat. But I'm really happy to hear you say it has a lot to do with behavior and compliance and just that self-regulation of how you feel through the day. Because I would argue there are times that both work to your favor. Number one, having a structure of mostly complex foods, which are going to have a stronger thermic effect. Certainly, you can go back to our series on different macronutrients and look at the ratios of protein, carbs, and fat, and the quality issues with each one. But there are times where perhaps that simple sugar is going to increase activity or energy for a certain task. And I would say I've been in situations with high intensity training, even hiking in the Grand Canyon, things like that. Just the roof example I gave, where you're just slogging through 2 to 3 times the amount of calories you normally use. And you need that quicker energy to kind of pick you back up so that you can have that stronger energy output, that extra muscular work and efficiency. So I think that's where you have to have really good meal timing and understand what type of food source is best for that particular context. So sometimes it would be something much more complex. Sometimes maybe something a little bit more simple would actually do the job.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that what people have to realize is that I see this all the time, especially with men. They do like gigantic pre-workout meals, and a lot of times they'll put like 8 or 9 ounces of protein in there. But on the flip side, they don't realize that they're actually basically getting into sympathetic dominance when they do that versus staying in like more of a parasympathetic state. So you don't want your blood divided across your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So you do want to make sure that you're fueling yourself, but not dividing the blood across the stomach for digestion. And so usually a smaller, more moderate, lower protein to no protein meal is going to be better.
And even with things like insulin sensitivity, over time, as you're increasing your cardiovascular fitness, you're getting that contest prep a little bit deeper, you're going to see that hunger, satiety, blood sugar level stability, things like that can improve just because you are increasing your health and efficiency. But it's going to be because of consistency as well. If your food intake is very haphazard and you don't have a lot of regularity or structure there, it's going to have an impact either directly in the cellular metabolic realm or just in your behavior. And I would wrap up with this, Adam, and just saying that when I have dug into clients' food logs, as you described as a first step, it's that kind of consistency and regularity that often does help get them back to a faster fat loss. And like you said, I'm not going to pin it all on the few calories difference in thermic effective food as I am how that creates the long-term platform for just emotional, mental, and physical stability.
Yeah, I think people do well with structure. So when it's laid out like that, they're least likely to make a mistake, or they're more likely to adhere to it a little bit better.
Awesome. All right, Adam, well, thank you for jumping in with this topic. And you guys watching and listening, again, thanks. Would love to hear your comments and suggestions for new series. And we will see you next time in Contest Prep University.